I want to start off by first talking a little bit about you. Tell me about your family and your background, and where you grew up, where you went to school.
Okay. I'm a fifth-generation Missourian, and I come from a family that's been involved in public service here for a long time. My dad served as governor back in the 90s, and my mother served some time in the United States Senate. So I grew up in this family that thought public service was a noble thing and good thing to do. We'd sit around the dinner table when I grew up in Rolla, out down south of here, and talk about things in the community. And I remember one of my first inspirations to get involved in politics was trying to get a bond issue passed for a local swimming pool. Because as a little kid, I could see that we had a terrible swimming pool and needed to do something about it. And so we had a fun summer going door to door trying to talk folks into voting for a new swimming pool, and guess what? We got a new swimming pool. So it was an early lesson in how you really can make a difference in your community.
Why did you decide to run again for this position?
Well, the Secretary of State's job is a terrific opportunity to serve the people of our state and actually get things done. You know, it's not one of those offices where you debate a lot of things or vote on things or sit in hearing rooms. It's a place where you actually serve people every day, and we have thousands of people who come into our office or use our website every day that need something out of government, something that they can't do without this help from government. And it might be a small business that wants to get started, and they want to figure out how to get that done with as little paperwork and hassle as possible. So we've done a lot to put online all of the information about how to start a business in our state. And we're able to, by doing that, to cut costs for businesses and red tape by $7 million so far since I've been in office. So I'm really pleased about that. I think there's more we can do on that front. We also oversee the securities regulation in the state, and that's not homeland security, that's the sale of stocks and bonds. And so what we do there is just try to protect investors, and particularly in these uncertain economic times, that's becoming even more important. Just last month in August, we were able to get 40,000 people back money that had been frozen for 6 months by big investment companies. So they're all very pleased and think there is a role for government to play in being on their side when they're not being treated right by the big investment houses. And obviously we also oversee elections, and so that's been a big part of what we've been doing in the last few months, is trying to make it easier for people to vote, harder for anybody to cheat, and make sure everybody's confident in the results.
What do you view as your greatest accomplishment while Secretary of State?
Gosh, there's a lot that we've focused on. The office, as I said, is one that's really just focused on providing good customer service to people and getting results. So I'm very pleased in all the different areas I've already talked about, whether it be helping small businesses and cutting red tape and cutting costs for them, or getting investors, particularly seniors who've been scammed, their money back. On the elections front, you know, we're working hard to make sure people are confident in elections, and that we have the latest technology and make it really accessible for folks to be able to vote. One of the other things that we've done that's kind of fun is we're the keeper of the state archives, so we have all of the historical information about the state. And my goal has been to try to put that, as much of it online as possible, because, you know, right now if we have warehouses full of interesting stuff, it's almost like it doesn't exist if nobody can get to it. So we're scanning in images every day, and it's terrific. We had 23 million hits on our website last year that dealt with archives and history of Missouri, so we're going to continue to do that as well.
You talked some about your accomplishments while you've been Secretary of State. For this election, though, what do you see as the biggest challenge facing the Secretary of State once elected?
Well, you know, it's a big job. We do have thousands of people that depend on us every day. It's 270 employees, a $45 million budget, and people expect their money to be used wisely. And so I think one of the big challenges is integrating technology into the office in ways that private businesses are doing all the time, but we need to make sure state government keeps pace. That's the trend everywhere. It needs to be the trend in state government, and I'm going to continue to focus on getting it done, because I think it's good service for folks and it's cheaper.
And how would you go about doing that in the future?
Well, we've already done it in many ways. One of the things I want to do is make it so every single thing that particularly businesses have to do in registration and licensing gets to be done online. One of the steps we took already was to try to integrate the different state agencies, and I worked very closely with Governor Blunt and other folks in his administration to create basically a one-stop shop. So if you're a small business, you decide you want to start, in one sitting in a computer, you can get all of the government paperwork you have to get done finished in one place. You get your employer ID number, you can get all of these things done. And that took a lot of work, and there's still a few more things we can do to make that even better for Missouri companies. And, you know, the reason you do that is because you want to make this a good place for people to do business and stay and raise their families.
Now,